everyone, to Meet the Polymaker. I am your host, Joel, your modern day hero, as titled by some, very few. But welcome everybody to the show. We are here to do what we do every single week for 42 weeks in a row, is talk about 3D printing news and also showcase some community highlights or prints from our Discord, and ultimately to talk to a new maker. So we are back in the studio today. Last week was it last week? I've lost completely track of time of we were live from the warehouse or the factory in Houston. So we're back grounded for now. So welcome in everybody. If you are new here or you're somewhat new and you forgot, right down here we have I am awesome. That's type that in the chat, YouTube and Twitch. That's going to enter you for a chance to win a spool of filament at the end of the show. So make sure to get that typed in there. I am awesome. You'll see many people doing it. Make sure to get that in there so you get your chance to win. Is he quiet for anybody else? I might be. I messed with my mic today, so give me 1 second here. I don't know if I can crank it up anymore. Oh, here, actually, bear with me one moment here, folks. I knew I should have tested this out before I messed, but alas, I like to run everything at the last minute. Mic setup. We're going to do gain up here. Okay, get that there. Save. Okay. Okay. Nope, that's not better yet, I bet. Threshold, compressor. Hello, hello, hello. Nope, is that not doing it? Okay. Am I still, can everybody hear me okay? Or do I just need to talk louder? I might need to get the mic up here some. How do I sound now? Other than annoying. I don't need that answer. I guess I could probably listen to the live. Nope, I don't. Let's see here. Sounds good to me. Volume at half. He is loud and clear. Oh, okay. So loud and clear, Frankenbeak. Okay, I'm going to roll with it. So I'll just try to talk a little bit louder. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Again, one last time. I am awesome in chat. That's going to enter you in a chance to win some filament. But now that we've delayed, let's get right into the news. And first up, we're going to beat a dead horse with a stick here. If anybody's part of any type of 3D group, Reddit, subreddit, Facebook group, Discord, etc., you've seen this image. You've seen, oh no, it's Bamboo's next printer. It's leaked. We now know what it is. This isn't a guarantee. So some internet sleuths have actually dug up and found out that this image originally circulated back in 2022. So was it a pamphlet that's a leak of a possible project? Not saying it's not a thing. Very well could be. They've said they're going to do something innovative and new. This, if real, is going to be a dual extruder, but it's going to be different than an IDEX. It's going to have a rotating hot end with two hot ends on it. That's going to allow for two nozzles along with the AMS. So it's going to, ideally, we don't know all the details. Ideally, it's going to reduce waste, and it's going to reduce a lot of time and color or filament switching. So is it what they're going to do? Is it a large format? I mean, right now it's, it's saying AMS 2 Pro, know nothing about it other than that's what it's called. And then it's got dual extruder, forceful AMS, and the build size by the pamphlet, if legit, not the print size, but the actual dimensions of the product are 492 by 514 by 626. So it's a large footprint. If it is a thing, we're not going to know until hopefully January. I think they said Q1 was the announcement. I don't know if that's an announcement plus shipment. I don't know any details. I wish I did, because if I did, I would share them with you guys. But wait and see. Next up, we're going to talk about Rat Rig. They actually made their first appearance at a booth, or with their own booth, at Formnext this year. Of course, they showcased their Rat Rig V-Core and all their very sharp printers. These are all printers that you can buy, of course, but then put together yourself. What they also displayed, I think, was at least, I'm not in the super know, so I didn't know this was out there information, but they now have a sub brand. It's an industrial target with their, what would they call it? I just forgot. Disrupt Engineering. So it's basically going to be their V-Core series, but in an industrial suit, enclosed, everything else. The biggest thing here is they'll sell them assembled. So, they don't have to send it to a factory to them try to assemble it and figure it out. Comes assembled, ready to go right out of the box. Obviously ideal for a business that just needs to get to printing. So again, they showcase their printers plus these Disrupt Engineering printers. Right now, they're, like I said, other than coming pre-assembled, they're stating they'll start with 500 cube build size or print size, with a single extruder option for around 4,700 USD, and an IDEX version for around 6,000 USD. So not cheap, but ideally it's going to be a very very sturdy, well-built printer. So we'll see how they do. Next up, we're going to talk about Loop. Now this, I saw the article and I read it, and I was a little bit confused because I don't know if you guys remember Loop that was announced maybe a month, 2 months ago for a Kickstarter for a desktop or consumer grade filament recycling filament extrusion system where you can make your own filament. That got a little bit of backlash because we've seen things like that before. They've been scams. Everything seems too good to be true in this small package. Now the team from Loop did actually put a video out there talking about the whole setup and kind of what their projects are and their projections are. So that's on YouTube if you go look for it. I believe this is the same company, but I couldn't find any correlation that they are for sure. They're both Loop. They're considering this one here. What I want to talk about is a filament or 3D printer that recycles plastic cups. So to reduce waste in cafes, restaurants, etc., amusement parks, wherever you see plastic cups, ideally that you would return your cup to the system. It's going to recycle it down, extrude it into, like right now, I think they had it set up for scrubbers where it just ooze out, print a scrubber right then and there. Ideally, they could just do a block of material they could eventually recycle for filament extrusion. If it's the same company, kind of maybe combine the two. Because right now, currently only 9% of plastic cups or cup waste in the entire world is recycled. So there is still a 91% plastic waste just from cups, which is insane because we have a lot of plastic things out there. I think it's like 500 million cups or something per year. So it's up there, but their goal is to possibly set this up in restaurants to where it actually rewards customers to return their cup and recycle it, and then it'd be like a rewards program. They get points for cups returned, and then whether you can redeem those for gift cards or whatnot, it would be up to the company. But kind of cool. If it really does work, we will see. Again, I don't know if it's tied to that same company, but if it is, if they release two cool products and they work off the rip, congratulations to them. And next up, there we go. I didn't think it switched. We're going to talk about Wasp. We've talked about Wasp many times. Printer company. They do a lot of different printers. More specifically, this one is their Wasp 45 HDP, which is a high def pellet printer. Large scale fused granule fabrication system. So it's called FGF instead of FDM. It's capable of printing up to 45-degree angles, very large size. I didn't find the dimensions in the article, but they're targeting with this furniture, art, design, and marine markets. So that's boats, that's your chairs, that's your tables, all sorts of fancy stuff. You might see some like TikToks that have the robotic arms doing the really thick extrusions. With pellet, you can do that. You can change, of course, the extrusion size, your nozzle size, no matter what you're feeding it, because you're feeding it pellets. So it opens up a lot broader range of items that you can print, and of course the thicknesses that you can print. The very first company to purchase one of these machines was Ferretti, which is a yacht manufacturer. So I don't know to the extent of what all they're printing in-house, but it'll be interesting to see here in the future. And last up, we're going to talk about X Plus Expander. Some of those you might know what the X Plus firmware is. It's kind of a jailbreak for the X1 series bamboo printers to ideally unlock more features, be able to adjust things, add things like this expander, which is adding a USB ports and Ethernet port, which is very nice. And then also is going to allow different plugins modules such as a camera shutter release. I think it was there was different lighting release or plugins. A lot of options to expand what the X1C does. Again, that X1 or X Plus firmware is going to continue, I'm sure, opening up doors to maybe completely modifying it if that's what you're into. A lot of us like the turnkey printing now. It's just so convenient. But we'll see where it goes with that because, like I said, the sky's the limit. And we're going to start off now with our print highlights. I didn't announce it, and I still don't have a splash screen for it. So these are all submissions by our community members on our Discord at discord.polymaker.com and our Show Off Prints channel. you can share what you want there if you have a cool print. I encourage you, now that we're getting kind of closer to the holidays, encourage you, if you've printed somebody a gift, obviously if it's a lithophane of a picture or personal, don't post it unless you want to share it. That's fine. But anything that you're printing for people, whether it be giveaways or toys for tots or print drives or family, friends, whoever, I encourage you, take some pictures. They do not have to be high production. They can be sitting on an end table with 8 half cans of Mountain Dew. I don't care. I'm not picky. I don't go through and say, nitpick which ones look professional. If you got a cool print, you love what you do, share it. Even if I don't share it on the show, because I do limit it down to 5 that I pick completely randomly. You can inspire somebody. Like I said, the Christmas is coming up. Maybe a gift idea you have. Somebody's like, I didn't know that was a model. That is awesome. But also make sure to share where that model is found. If it is available or where you got it from, even if it's paid, post a link with it when you do the post. It doesn't allow text after you post a picture there. If you forget to, create a thread for that post, and then we can link that up. That way people know what it is. But with that said, first print is going to be by Big Jano, Twitch streamer galore, marble fanatic. He likes to yeet a lot of things. So he yeets every year and comes up with a new model for Christmas, different buildings. And of course, it's cool to see every year because of course his modeling skills increase and ideas increase. And now he has a gingerbread factory. This is only one section of it that I'm showing in the picture, but it is available on Things. It is designed by Big Jano. This one's printed by him, and it's got, I think, 3 buildings, but it's an intricate setup. So if you're looking to have some more decor around the house, perfect. You can add it with tea lights, LED strips, a lot of different options. So thank you very much, Jano, for the creation and the share. Next up, we have Builder's Mark, who loves the things from Soarpix, which I do too. I'm a good big car guy. The models are always awesome. I love the toonish look with the stance there with the camber out. This is, again, by Soarpix. It's the Supra MK5, and it is available on Maker World. And definitely colors nice. I like the color there with the blue, which Builder's Mark's favorite color there. Next up, we have something I just kind of talked about is gifts. Daddy Wazzy has created this Navy rating plaque, I believe for his boss, not to get too personal, but made it for him. And I think he's made all the different ratings, or he's working on doing all the rating plaques to print out and give out as gifts. So something personal like that is awesome. Even if you can't model, find something that's, has at least some meaning to it. And like I said, print it out, share it if you'd like. You don't have to give us the story if you don't want to. You can just share the print. But again, let's inspire others. So thank you very much for inspiring others, Daddy Wazzy. Next up, we have Pete, also known as Polymaker Pete, previously known as Pete Shirtle 3D, Lightbox Ambassador. He has many names, so I just went with Pete. It was the easiest. But he has created the Christmas ball ornament with tea light. This, of course, is the Polymaker logo. He has multiple on Maker World under Shirtle 3D. There's bamboo. I think he might be doing teams, maybe. Don't quote me on that. He's going to kill me if he gets a million requests now. But there's a lot of different versions. And what's cool is it's actually just on the back. It's got a little pressure fit where you snap a tea light into, and it holds it, lights up there. And then you just hang a hook on it and you're good to go. So very cool. It's made thin so that tea light does actually glow and you get a nice effect from it. And last but not least, we have Maker Megan, who has printed Letters and Dragon, which is on Thingiverse, but there was no information on there and I didn't have time to get it. But just really cool. They're all 3D printed letters with, looks like moss stuffed into them. And of course the dragon intertwined in between it. Just a really cool design. Another thing where you can personalize. There's a lot of block letters that you can print on Thingiverse, Maker World, etc. to do names, do sayings, do whatever you want. So just a lot of cool ideas there. Like I said, I don't have the exact modeler for this one, but if you search out there, you're going to find a lot of dragons and a lot of letters. So that is it for all the prints. Again, if you have one you want to share, please join our Discord at discord.polymaker.com and go into the Show Off Prints channel. Share there. We have a show off setups. We have applications for everything, RC cars, audio, Nerf blasters, etc. We have a really fun hangout where we have fun. We talk 3D printing. We just kind of, take jabs at each other. I've built a lot of friends in there and continue to do so. So come join it. Come join the shenanigans of it all. But with that said, we're going to break for commercials. I have not refreshed them yet, so I apologize to the submissions that have been made. I will get back to you. But after this commercials, we will be back to meet our next baker.
Imagine owning some of the best songs about 3D printing this Discord has to offer. Polymaker presents 3D Printing Hits by Silverback and Little D, the best renditions of some of the greatest hits of all time. Hits like Hallelujah, Polly Smooth Criminal, All That She Wants Is Another Printer, Print Away,
There you go, print away.
Still the TD1, All About That Bag, No Stabbies, and Polyman.
It's a file tonight. We're all in the mood to see it extrude, 'cause you've got your printer tuned right.
Reserve your CD today with a special TV offer by going to polymaker.com and paying $39.99. Have your credit card ready. Seriously though, this music was a joke. Go buy some Polymaker.
This is Polymax PLA, the toughest PLA in the world, and today we're gonna put that to the test. I printed this very mechanical model and we're gonna drop it from the 12th floor. You heard me well, the 12th floor. Let's go. Ready for the first drop in 3, 2, 1. Whoa, that's crazy! Not even a scratch! Let's go and check it closer. Not even a single scratch. I dropped it again from the 12th floor and still not a single scratch. Buy your Polymax PLA right now!
Performance may vary depending on usage, individual factors, and external conditions. Individual result may vary, not a guarantee of specific outcome. Consult your professional before use. See website for details and limitations. Use responsibly.
Have you had bad customer service with your filament provider? Have you ever gotten a bad spool and never got a response when you emailed the company? Well, that won't ever happen when you reach out to Polymaker. Some people say that no company cares about you. Wrong. 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 If you never got a response after emailing a company that you've worked with in the past, you may be entitled to better customer service. We at Polymaker pride ourselves on good customer service, and we won't ever keep you waiting for a response. Email us now at support@polymaker.com and we'll get back to you within 1 business day. We'll fight for you.
Welcome back, everybody. We are here now at this very moment, ready to meet our next maker. So this fella has helped out with a lot of things. He's part of a lot of different moving gears and a lot of different areas of 3D printing. So let's go talk to him about it. Please meet Adam. Welcome in, Adam.
Thank you.
There we go. I was waiting. I'm like, I didn't hear anything.
Thank you.
There we go. I'm going to try to turn it down a little bit to meet you. Let me know how his audio is. Since I adjusted mine, I adjusted his a little bit. So
1, 2.
I can hear you,
check
so
1,
they
2.
should be able to hear you. I just don't know if it's going to be loud or quiet. But either way,
test.
let's see. I'm going to wait for a response. Get a load of this guy. Turtle 3D. Who's that weird guy? Print and play. Hello, Adam. Creatrix Brit with a little squirrel, but I'm going to imagine it's a ferret waving. No one's saying that you don't sound okay. Sounds good. There we go. Thank you, Clown Hammer. I was waiting
Sounds
for
good.
confirmation.
Thank you.
So, for those that don't know who you are you and what do you do?
I am Adam, or Out of Adam. I am a Polymaker Qforge ambassador, but before that, I was the Qforge bug wrangler. So that title doesn't come without many responsibilities, but I test and break Qforge kind of as my fun outside of my day job as a software engineer. I have 20 plus years of software testing. So I was a software test engineer before that. And so that's kind of gives some background to why I might be interested in breaking a cool piece of tech that was related to my hobby.
There you go. How many times would you say you've broken Qforge?
Over hundreds of times. We have a GitHub repository, and that started after launch, a few months after launch. So there was many times I've busted Qforge or found bugs.
So you're a slightly intricate part of the people having a good experience when they get the final product.
Yes, and that gets more challenging as we do more.
Oh yeah, add more features. So you're also partially to blame for any bugs that exist when they release the next version.
If they weren't caught and reported, yes. Get technical.
Gotta throw you out under there. But okay, so of course you work with Qforge. We'll get to kind of more how you've been involved with Polymaker doing some things, but how did you yourself start in 3D printing?
I actually had to look this up in January of 2017. I got a 3D printer. It was a Monoprice Maker, like Duplicator 6. I believe was the name. It was actually a box printer that kind of looked like a M200 or kind of like an Ultimaker. And I was like, that looks like a 3D printer. And I didn't want to go cheap. So I didn't go cheap. It wasn't the super high end, but yep, that was my first printer.
Dove in head first.
Yep.
Now, was there anything that urged you to do it, or was it just kind of part of your, tech thing, and that you're like, hey, I just want to kind of see what this is all about?
I'm a geek. I'm into tech. And I was doing some tabletop gaming, and a buddy, a previous coworker, but now just a tabletop gaming buddy, brought little game tokens to our thing. And he's like, I can make your own custom. I'm like, I've been looking at 3D printing. Have they really come down in price? Are they that accessible? Because I knew he wasn't somebody that splurged on tech. And he's like, totally, it is. It's time to jump in and get one, man. And he was like telling me about the printer he had, which was the Monoprice, I think it was Maker Select, the cantilever, like white one. Yep. And so I was like, oh, awesome. And I was like, how much does the filament cost? He's like, it's around $20 a spool. Okay. And so I started researching and got my first printer.
And then has there ever been a hiatus, or since then, have you pretty much always had a printer? And then if you did you kind of stick with it, or was it sporadic usage up until, of course, more recent?
Yeah, it was more sporadic usage. I would say at the very beginning, it was like, because the reliability of the printers wasn't great. The information one is good. I was still watching early creators. I think Barnacles was someone I was watching very early on, and then Joel Telling. And so it just was a steep learning curve at the beginning. So I would I was also scared because I was in a condominium with my animals. So I have ferrets. And so I didn't want to print when I was at work, which was generally during the week. So I'd only really print on the weekends. And so it wasn't like, oh, I'm printing endless amounts of stuff. It was kind of growing pains.
Here and there.
I would take on a project. Yeah.
Your initial prints, did you start with like miniatures and things with tabletop gaming, or did you jump into something completely different when you started?
I was really into RC. So I first wanted to print like little camera mounts for cameras to add to make your own FPV little drone. So little tiny whoops. And mounts for my gaming. So I'm really into gaming. I used to be a game tester when I started when I was 18. So I was printing little mounts to hang my Xbox controllers and kind of just organize my space as you do. So it was a lot of more functional than like, oh, I'm really into X and printing little figurines. Yeah.
So now with, of course, you're now kind of integrated into the HueForge stuff. How did that relationship start? Was it just something that you saw and you kind of became part of the community, or how did your relationship build with Steve and HueForge?
Yeah. So first, I didn't know about it till I watched a Z and Z episode of Pez Liz and Zombie the Hedgehog, and they were interviewing this guy that was working on developing this awesome software called HueForge. And there was a few models that were uploaded to printables, the print. I was like, this is super interesting. This is awesome. People could do this with a standard 3D printer just by filament swaps. This is going to be revolutionary. I could see how impactful this would be if it worked as it was being described. And so I was like, oh, a few early people that were more influencers, content creators, very few people had the software early. And I was like, I really want to get involved. I wonder if I could, help him out and like get access to the software and have an impact with this piece of technology. And so I just, I knew his name. I added him as a friend on Discord, and then it was a hey, he accepted it. And I kind of like a job application was like, hey, you don't know me. I've had over 20 years of experience of software testing. I'm really into 3D printing. What you're, making it looks to be super, amazing. I'd love to contribute and just break it. And so the funny part is Steve's first response was, oh no, a competent tester. And I just did a laughing emoji.
He's going to find so many things.
Yeah, it was before the launch. It was still in development. I didn't know everyone involved yet. And so, and so it kind of just grew there. I started getting access to the alpha builds before people had it, testing it on different hardware. We were just developing a Windows release, was the very first release. And so that was actually June 1st. And I looked up, and I believe the release was June 20th of the software to the public.
So now
of 2023.
Of course, they started with Windows, but now they have Windows and Mac. Do you do the bug wrangling on both sides? Oh, so I guess all three sides then. So
yep, all three. And yeah, it gets more complicated with Linux distros and the libraries of the OpenGL graphics libraries that it uses, and different GPUs, so graphics processors that are in the PCs, and which drivers they're using, since so there's
just so many different gears.
Yeah. There are so many pieces, then there's Intel Macs and different Mac OS versus the new ARM64M processors. And so there are many.
So for those that don't know on what really, and I don't know how easy this will be to do, what goes into bug wrangling, do you look at the code of the application, the program, and then kind of see what it does? Or do you just play with it and know how to kind of force things? Like, what's kind of a best summary that you could get of what you actually do to break these things?
Yeah, what I do is only called what's black box testing, which is the compiled app. White box testing is when you are testing the different code before it becomes an app. And so I'm only testing a compiled version of the app. And so you start by doing different scenarios. First, can I launch the app? Can I bring up the file menu? Can I open a project? Can I save a project? You just start doing different scenarios. Can I drop in an image? Can I drop in an SVG? Can I, does it render?
So basically, correctly? You got to try to mimic what you think the user is going to do in the end user is going to do, and just try to do everything you think they might mess with. And then some.
Yeah. What happens when somebody, plugs in their TD1 while it's already running? What if they already have it plugged in while they launch the app? It's, what happens when they, do all sorts of scenarios? Yeah.
And I know a handful of times in Hangouts where you'd be talking like, oh, I just found something. And I go, what'd you do? I had to do this. And then when I moved it to a second screen and it did that, like what? Like, how do you find these things? So I'm always enthralled by just what goes into it and how much work it is. So hats off to you on that skill. But now from, of course,
Thanks.
HughForge is, you've done some projects for Polymaker, which we'll talk about.
Yep.
How did your introduction to Polymaker go? Was it just a community member and they kind of built from there? Or, I think I was kind of around your same time, but I'll let you kind of explain how you got involved.
Yeah, I learned about Polymaker. Content creators were, promoting, giving away their filament to do Christmas print drives or contests.
Yeah.
So I started using it more and really liking it. So I joined the Discord. This was before, HughForge. I was printing little flexies to sell on like an Etsy for fun or give away, and so I ended up just becoming more active in the community. And my first rep show was the Rocky Mountain 2023, and I printed a bunch of Zal 3D, like little axolotls or different.
Oh yeah, the
cats.
handouts at the table.
And so I was gonna just have my maker table, and I brought my death racer that I need to finish because I always do stuff last minute and was very busy with my day job. And so I was just gonna do that and hand these out to kids that wanted them. And Nick was like, "Those are awesome!" And like 99% were printed in Polymaker filament because that's what I use. And he's like, "Could we have these to give out with our contest?" I'm like, "Sure." And so they became the handouts at the scientist game.
Just last minute things. It's almost as
Yep.
if me and Nick both work at last minute things, but it always works out in the end. So amazing community members definitely are a big part of that. So of course that you help that there of having prints ready. Of course you've always been a help in Discord, always a friendly face, a knowledgeable guy. Most recently, you created a game for us. So I've told this story. I've never started. I don't think I've told it on the show. Maybe a short form version. But of course, I'll do the base of it. Is that we had a Panchroma game. I came up with the idea of it, but the whole implementation of a screen and needing to display some images, but the images had to be random, and it was the color match and everything else. There's a lot of little moving parts. I tried to do a dumbed down version, and it worked. It was very rudimentary. It worked. But I was showing it off in Hangout, and Adam, and along with Pete, who Polymaker Pete now, both decided that's not good enough. We're going to take hold of this. They ran with it. So what did you do? What was your part in Pavo's Panchroma puzzle game?
Yeah, so first I saw your implementation. You were showing full sets of images, and you had like a few sets, and you're like, "I'm going to have to create like 100 images to have some randomization." I'm like, "That's not how it should be programmed," and the programmer and me, I'm like, "No, that ain't the way." I think you were doing this the Wednesday night, so it was pretty much Thursday morning, I think, for your time.
The week before, I think.
The week prior to 3D Printopia.
Sounds
And
right.
I'm like, I was like, and Pete was like looking at the art, maybe you could help with the art. So we kind of just jumped in and started learning. So I actually did a senior project like game development, but that was totally a different language, different frameworks now that make it much easier. I'm like, maybe I could pull this off, just maybe, because I don't do game development for my day job anymore. It's all services and cloud services. And then I was like, well, at least I could use the programming language I use in my day job, C#, and maybe I could pull this off. And so I started learning Unity, watching tutorials on YouTube, breaking down the problem of trying to just display 5 feathers on a peacock without any feathers. And then it started like, okay, I could do that. Now I need to randomize it, but not have duplicates. And then, you start breaking down the problem and fixing bugs. Okay, now we have solid colors and I'm displaying them by RGB, but we have a rainbow. So now we can't just do that. We have a gradient we need to throw in. So it came down to the Friday morning. I was fixing bugs and adding features when I was in Bel Air at the HughForge Airbnb party house.
Yeah, I get a message that says, "Hey, I got an updated file for you. I'll give it to you in the morning. I added a feature." I'm like, what do you mean you added a feature? The thing already worked. But I mean, this went from me having like he said, an image pop up and it's just random, to having a start menu or a start button, a reset button, the timer being displayed, the colors along with the gradients, and I think it was 9 total feathers that would change. And then the last second, the day before, was, I added a new feature. So when the timer ran out, all the feathers fell off. And it's like,
Yeah, they like blew
You're
away in
insane.
one direction.
And then not only that, it was, it wasn't, we had to do a mouse and click. He thought it all through of the fact that we're going to be at an event, we're going to have a booth, there's going to be people walking up. We can't just keep walking up to the booth with a mouse and moving it. He had it all programmed where we could do everything with an Xbox controller. So it was mini PC, a monitor, Xbox controller, and it all came together. And like I said, that's what I find awesome about the community is that was something I wasn't out there, looking for help. I was just like, hey, look, I made this work. And they're like, nah. As the Americans say, hold my beer.
Yeah, it's just amazing. The Polymaker team, like sideline review, bringing the tiny PC, making sure it's all updated in the monitor. I bring the controller. Everything just like comes in like the last minute. I added different timer modes on the buttons and resetting, and yeah, it's kind of funny how things just happen and they land.
Oh yeah, and that's what's something that I've put in my notes for next year's events is, we've had like the prints where we always try to show off credit plaques and everything else. I'm definitely everything that's had community involvement, especially direct community, like with you and Pete and everything with the game, is adding those plaques, because I don't think people realize of how much our booth, as nice as it looks, professional or fun that it looks, of how much it is community created, community just ideas brainstormed, communities printing, just everything that's involved in our booth is just insane of where it's come from, an idea that just multiple people like, oh, let's take it. I'll take this part. You take that part. Let's work with it. And yeah, so hats off to Adam and Pete too. He was part of it too. Just coming up with, like I said, a month or not a month. I'm sorry. Yeah, I wish a month. A month would have been nice. A week before. Everything's always down to the wire with us. But now, of course, back to reality, and we're done with the events for the year. We got some new ones coming up next year. Is there anything that you're working on now, or any like big projects or prints that you're doing, or something that you're looking forward to either end the year or maybe start the new year with?
Main thing is I just have some coworkers asking me for some Hue Forges for Christmas gifts, so I have to come through for my day job. Some coworkers have been asking for, stuff of their his sister and her husband, the nice little Hue Forge. So, and then just some different prints for gifts and stuff. So nothing big project related. It's a little lull before the next Rep Rapper show I'll be going to. So
there you go.
I'm just trying to get some R&R, focus up on the day job, and have a little relaxation before the new year.
And reorganize your studio and get all that set up. So I know I've watched kind of the progression of everything moving around, shifting around. He's got a camera above, camera over, all that. Is that something that you're looking to get into with the streaming?
Yeah, I've been doing a little bit in my tons of free time. I'm kidding. I have a very busy day job, a little side job, and then doing
little everything.
Polymaker, talks. So I enjoy doing some live streaming, building printers, assembling them, kind of doing little projects and sharing my experience making. So I kind of have this to do my Polymaker talks, but yeah, I've been doing a little bit of YouTube streaming. Kind of want to, learn from like Danny and take some of the talks I do and make them into shorts, and other people, edit them down, and some stuff in the New Year's kind of concentrate a little bit more on sharing those talks or tidbits and knowledge and sharing them to the Hue Forge community. I just,
which we didn't even touch on is, like I said, we kind of mentioned it, that you're one of our Hue Forge application ambassadors in Discord. So when do you do your presentations? Because him and Danny both are pros at this. Oh, see what this is just lost. So let me get this pulled back up here. Let me add them back. I don't know. It does it randomly. It's something with the software, I think. But welcome back. But again, these guys are pros at Hue Forge. If you guys are already into it but want to learn more, or getting into it, these are the guys that know what they're doing. So when do you do your talks? I think you just changed it recently.
Yeah, I do every other Monday. So check the schedule within the Polymaker Discord. Every other Monday at 5:30 Pacific, so it'd be 8:30 Eastern.
Yep, and after those open stage presentations, they always do a Q&A after. So if you got some questions, I said this is one of the pros there. So he's been in and out of the program probably more than anybody between digging and breaking and everything else. But on top of that, he's also good at using it, not just breaking it.
Yeah, I try to kind of break things down because HueForge today can get very complex very fast.
Lot
so
of
kind of
features.
it's a lot of features. We keep adding more advanced features, or really Steve keeps adding more advanced features, and we keep trying to use them. So I think that's a big thing that Danny's doing awesome at the content creation and making it more accessible for people. But that's, I think, we're just trying to do as well, just with all our Polymaker talks. So
now with HueForge 2, real quick, is do you have your light box near you? The beautiful, perfect color match light box?
The color match.
The
light
blue
box.
one, the Seattle whatever. Yes, that
Correct.
one right there. So can you explain real quick? Because I know you've said it in Hangout stuff. So of course, the light box was designed by Pete, right?
Yep.
Yep. And but then of course, once you have that, you still need to match the colors up. So how did you go? Because a lot of people just kind of pick the red, the blue. This looks right. This looks right. But you somehow you used HueForge to help you find the colors, right?
Yeah, just like Pete used the image to create the vector. Inside joke. But I dropped the image into HueForge, and instead of creating a 3D model from it, I just right-clicked on each color section within it to find similar colors that are in the library. And so then it starts finding similar, and then I know what I own because I have it clicked as owned. And so I start going, oh, that does look really close. And so I start just adding colors, and I could drag and drop them just like I was creating a standard HueForge, but just kind of view it how it's gonna look in the light box. So in HueForge, you could use it as multiple tool, to create awesome light boxes.
Yeah, whether it's HueForges and there's a lithophane setup inside HueForge also, correct?
Yeah, there's backlit. They're called lithophane method. I've made a couple, but I've given away some. But here's one half of a stained glass lithophane. So
like the butterfly one you did before.
Exactly. Here's some early test ones that were incorrect, but I've given away the actual ones. So those were the test ones of that one. So you print them flat and then you glue them back to back. So that was a test print. So I've done a couple stained glass lithophanes in HueForge. So yeah, it's pretty cool. They look great in a window. That you can find more info on the HueForge wiki. So I stood up a media wiki, and then people have added content and articles. So Steve's dad, Tom, has created an article around stained glass HueForges. So HueForge.wiki.
Yeah, lots of beautiful designs. Like I said, I remember seeing the butterfly one. I think was the first one I seen that you did, and it was crazy. Like, okay, well now it's not just a HueForge, now it's a stained glass window and everything else. And so it's crazy to see. Because when did HueForge? When did you because you started you kind of worked in the birth of it, right? Like shortly after the birth of it,
before launch.
And when was that? Was that last year, or is it two?
Yep. So
2023.
Yep. So June of 2023, I think it was June 20th, and so it's been a year and a half. Over a year. Yep.
Crazy. And then of course, I know you can't talk about the internal stuff, but more features to come, I'm sure.
I'm sure. They're working up into that Steve, the HueForge mind.
There's you go.
Always stuff
always
being
spinning
added.
Gears. So I always say about Nick, there's always 100 gears spinning, and how many are going to spit out all at once. So what we'll do here, we'll get ready to do some community questions. If you guys have any questions for Adam here, be sure to ask. I'm watching Twitch and I'm watching YouTube. And is this a premiere or a live? This 3D printing lawyer, this is a live. Just a live stream on Twitch and YouTube and also TikTok. We try stream now. Let's see. I'll see if there's any questions. But again, if you have any questions, have you ever tried to see the TD of cooked pasta as in raw spaghetti?
I have not.
Now I'm curious though. I'm not gonna lie, I'm curious. I might have to chance one of my TD ones and see what the TD is of spaghetti. That was Tech Jeeper. Thanks for that question.
A funny note. I printed a protopasta, so I went to a Joel Telling charity event and I printed, because their protopasta, I image generated, prompted for a plate of pasta and printed it in their filament for a gift for Alex. So I have printed a HueForge of a plate of pasta.
And the 3D printing lawyer is asking, do you get to prioritize the HueForge bugs too, or just find them?
I do add severity to the bugs. Generally, we're all in agreement. It's just Steve and I, two cooks in the kitchen. And so it's usually, the crashing, functionality missing, all that jazz is targeted
all the fun
first.
Stuff.
But, yep.
That's a Shirtle 3D, whoever that might be. Ask, who is the best F1 team or your favorite F1 team?
Right now, I'd say McLaren. They are the world champions for the team this year. I think last was like 94 or 98 was their last time they were the world champions. Yeah. So, yeah.
So here, which I just happen to have this by me. I don't know if the green screen's going to block it out. Did you see this file? Oh, it's going to cut it out. Boop. There you go. As long as it's not there too long. So the 2025 calendar. So I'll have to share that file with. I think actually Steve, Layer by Layer, had shared it in Hangout chat maybe. So I figured I'd max out the K2 Plus and see what we could do with it. But very, very cool print, especially if you're an F1 guy. But Let's see here. Does Polymaker ASA transmit enough light for light boxes or lithophane, or should I use PET G? So ASA or PET G, what has been with Polymaker's lineup, what seems to have the better TD values for light boxes?
For light boxes, so PET G generally, just based on the property of its raw, would be a higher TD, but it kind of goes to what your light box design, how many walls you have, and the TD of each color. So it does vary within each line. So there are people that print exclusively in ABS and ASA. You just have to get the right filaments. I haven't printed any HueForges in ASA or PET G. I just stick with PLA because there's so many colors. I own a lot of it. I just don't do HueForges in it. There's just so many colors and TDs.
And we got a question by Layer from Layer by Layer. What is your favorite printer that you didn't win?
My favorite printer that I didn't win. The Creality K1 Max. That's my favorite printer I didn't win.
That you didn't win. You had it in your hands though. You got to hold it.
I had it on my shoulder.
You got to feel that you want it. Let's see. Bearded Printer asks, I have a question. How does it feel to be awesome?
Feels pretty good.
Feels pretty good. There you go. Let's see here. View Station's asking, what has been the most difficult HueForge you've printed and why?
Ooh, I would say my most difficult was we did one for Joel Telling for Rocky Mountain 2024. He had a little hammer thing.
The game,
and game would go up, and David, his producer, had ideas for different words with different themes on them, and that was the most difficult because it was going to somebody's vision, not something I was creating. So it was kind of had to have buy off from the producer, and there was a specific font, so I kind of had to reverse look up the font and pre-edit the image because we didn't have color match yet. So I was actually using color pop, and it was different layers of the color, and so that was the most difficult. And it was a dark snow scene, so I had the prompt for it, and it was two prints side by side that had to look as one. But I feel like I nailed it. It was the one that said Wondrous.
Great. Wondrous. Yep, I remember it. It looked. Yeah, you definitely nailed it. Hybrid Robotics. Is there a HueForge for dummies? I'll link you right there. Come join the open stage. Danny with Neokoi Prints and Additive Atom both do presentations. That is going to be your best. You say, are you going to look at starting to record them and maybe doing them as like shorts or like tutorials on YouTube?
Yeah. So I've been recording them for a few months now. I just need to kind of learn DaVinci Resolve and like take out the likes, like I just said, and the ums and the dead space and make them professional so people don't lose interest. Yeah.
There you go. Well, I'm going to go ahead and move on to our rapid fire questions, and then I'll let you get out of here. So you've seen the show, you know, kind of we start off first. What's your favorite filament? Color, surface, etc. It doesn't have to be Polymaker. You just earn extra points, which get to be redeemed at the end of the year for absolutely nothing.
It's hard. Starlight Neptune would be like if I was just printing something amazing, and I didn't say PLA. I just want Starlight Neptune and everything, like an ASA ABS version for my custom printer that, you know, Ajax 3D has been so gracious enough to give me a spool of. That was the special run for the ABS. TD ones. Yeah. So I have a spool of that, but I would like to print more parts out of it. So Starlight Neptune would be like the top, like just color. Blue is my favorite color. I used to have a blue car. I have like blue hoodies I always wear. I'm trying to think of other ones that are kind of my top colors. Joel Telling's Protopasta High Five Blue is pretty amazing, like this glitter blue. So it's hard to go.
There's so many nowadays.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, so then next up is, what print are you most proud of?
Print you're most proud of. Kind of strangely, I don't know. It's not the most amazing, but the Polymaker pack, the Fire Dragon, because I actually didn't create my own first Indian HueForge till after release, and so we didn't even get into that. But it was just approached that after we launched, it was like Nick said, "Does somebody want to help with a project?" And it was in the HueForge channel. I'm like, "Yeah, totally." And so Nick was like, "We're trying to do some Polymaker packs. Would you like to be involved?" Well, give the coupons, and I was. And so I actually wasn't that great at making HueForges and art. So, and HueForge was much more difficult to use at that time. And so, that Fire Dragon, I think, just came out amazing, that fire pack. So it was me still like learning HueForge, cutting my teeth at making it. And I just think,
your most proud print doesn't always have to be the best print.
Yep.
So next up, will you ever start your own game studio?
No. I've been in the software industry since I was 18, and so over 20 years. Not to say my age.
Enough work there on that aspect.
Exactly.
Next up, what project or event are you most excited about for next year in 2025?
I don't have any projects kind of on the docket besides just ongoing HueForge testing, so it's not a project. I'm kind of most excited, I think, for Open Sauce. That was the first event. I actually had some help, so I went to that event. It was the second event. I had my own little maker table, and so I had the prime location. I was like the second person most people saw when they came in, and I didn't get to explore it. So I'm kind of excited to, if I do that again, get more help. Tracksman, the other Adam within the Polymaker community, helped me at my booth. And so that was, I can't believe I wouldn't have got any food or anything if I didn't have that help. It was just swamped. We were losing our voices. Exactly. So I kind of want to do Open Sauce again this year. I think it's in July, and see more of the stuff.
Experience a little bit more of it.
Yeah. It's a show that has not just like 3D printing focus, like a Rep Rap or a 3D Printopia. It's just like people's hackers,
pot of
creators,
DIY.
Exactly, content creators. Yep.
Oh yeah, and I'm excited to see it for the first time next year. So I'll be there with you. We'll have to go check it out together. And then let's see. Last but not least, with Christmas almost here, what is the top item on your list to Santa of what you would want for Christmas if you could have anything?
If I could have anything, I would like a completed Voron stealth changer, hand delivered, hand tuned by the experts, and said, "Here's your sick."
There you go.
That's if I could have anything, just wiggle my nose. Okay.
Yep.
Exactly.
Okay. They're gonna see what they can do. But that is well, hopefully you get what you're hoping for. We'll see. You never know who's watching. You never know what might show up your doorstep. So
Yeah,
but
true.
I'm going to give the stage to you. Is there anything, any sites, socials where people can follow you, your open stage presentation, anything that you want to announce? I want to give it to you, and then I'll let you go.
Thank you. I'm Out of Adam. You could find me at outofadam.com. I'm on Twitter, Blue Sky, Polymaker Discord. You know, if you need some help, you know, I'm in the Hangout a lot in Polymaker. Come join. We could go to a different channel, work through your HueForge. I feel I'm a pretty open book, so you know, hit me up if you need some help.
There we go. Yeah, like he said, he's awesome, knowledgeable guy, and super nice guy, chill to talk with. So don't be afraid to approach. So thank you very much, Adam, for coming on the show, and I'm sure I will see you around soon.
Yeah, thank you, Joel.
Take it easy, man.
Peace.
And that is it for the interview of the maker of the week. Adam, thank you very much for coming on the show. Like I said, he has been just a gem in the community. Another just one of you many awesome people. I said the amount of things that he's helped me with without even asking, it's insane. I never expect that from anybody, but just goes above and beyond. So thank you for being part of the community, and thank you for being on the show. With that said, before we get to it, right now, if you have not yet and you're now watching the show an hour into it, make sure to type in I am awesome, because we're going to get ready to give away a spool of filament for Polymaker. That is international. I don't care where you're at. Enter, and if you win, you're gonna get some filament. So type that in. We'll roll that here in just a minute. Other than that, we have a couple projects that are going on right now. One almost ending, so we'll see what the new year brings. But we have Polymaker figurines led by Antoine Dimensions. I did that wrong. Pezlis tried to correct me on it. I've been saying Dimensions the whole time, and it's not right. But either way, Antoine Dimensions is doing Polymaker figurines project, where he posts every 2 days a new video on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everywhere, where he prints a new Pokemon out of the first 151 Pokemon and evolutions. And he's coming down to the wire. He's almost to the end there. I don't know if there's a big special final, finale video. Maybe. If you're not following him, definitely do so. They're fun videos. And when he releases those videos, the model he's showing becomes available for free on Maker World under the Antoine figurines account. So make sure to go download those. You don't have to do it in multicolor. You can do it in solid color if you want. But that is an awesome project that's almost coming to an end. And again, what will 2025 bring? Stay tuned. Other than that, we also have Polymaker Education, which is continuing ongoing. There's really no 151 first education things. So that's just kind of a continual thing where Creatrix Britt, who leads it, is actually doing kind of the same format. She'll do a video, and then it's Polymaker_education, Instagram, TikTok, etc. Across the board. Make sure to show your support there. Where, like I said, does the video of an educational piece, whether it be learning food safety, vehicles. I always forget how to kind of announce it. But a lot of things educational, whether it be from kids to adults and everything in between, learning things. There's a lot of information that goes into it. Some stuff that I've learned. What was the one Apple one? There's way more Apple variations out there than I realized. But again, those models become available for you to print. So great for preschools, kindergartens, elementary schools, daycares, if I didn't say that already, churches, anywhere, or if you have your own kids, you homeschool, anything. A lot of good, useful information there. And like I said, information in the videos, plus the video, or plus the model for free. And last but not least, we have Pezlis at twitch.tv/Pezlis. Does Printing Color Show every Wednesday on her Twitch stream, along with various other shows, where she showcases some of our new colors, some of our new surface effects, and kind of how to use those colors in different prints. So definitely, if you're not following her there, go check her out and follow her there. And we are here every Thursday. I say we, but there's only one guy in the studio. So I am here every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are 41, 42-ish weeks in a row. We're going to keep it going throughout the holidays. I know next Thursday was normal. The following Thursday is the day after Christmas. We have a guest for each of those days. We have shows for each of those days. So stay tuned. If you like what you see, definitely come back. But with that said, let's finish this off. We have 65 entries, and I'm going to give it 10 more seconds. Type in I am awesome in chat. If you don't know if you've done it, or forget if you've done it, or you maybe typed it wrong, type it again. It's not going to hurt you. It'll give you that one entry regardless. And then we'll do a drawing for a spool. And then also before that ends too is let's see who is live and who we're going to raid out after this. There we go. Good old Digital Dragon is live. So I'm going to set up the raid now. I need to have a button for this. One of these days. One of these days. Let's follow. Okay, yep. So we're good there. Okay, we're going to raid out the Digital Dragon after the drawing. So we are going to draw right about now. So this goes over for YouTube and Twitch. We have yet to have a YouTube winner in 40 some episodes. Like, come on, Sebastian. This guy wins. This name you see on every giveaway all the time. I think he wins all of it. He actually works with the people who code the stuff for the giveaways. He's a cheater, but congratulations, Sebastian. Hit me up on Discord at Polymaker Joel in the Polymaker Discord, or email me at joel.fin@polymaker.com. Everyone, if you're having a good time, you like what you see here, you see the chat's always active and fun, that always carries over to our Discord at discord.polymaker.com. Be sure to check us out. Until then, you guys have a good weekend, a good week. Hope to see you here next week at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. See you guys later.
Thank you.